And what are you wearing?
Oh, it's Halloween night out actually. So it's like, I'm just dressed as a taco. We got the stuffing in Sheffield United stuffing, the Eddie and Nketiah sauce. It's around there, so it's all right. It's all right. I'm getting there. Good day today. So yeah,
mate. Listen, that will come to you in a few moments. I like the outfit, but it's Halloween though, bro. You're meant to wear scary things, and we're not American here.
Fancy dress.
Oh, no, it's meant to be scary stuff. But Igal, an emphatic performance from your boys today. Talk to me.
We need more like this. We need more like this. We need more. I'm happy. Eddie Nketiah, that third goal just shows the confidence that he grew during the game, because he would have never taken that chance a couple games ago. He would have never taken that chance if he didn't have the 2 goals already. And you know what? Mikel Arteta taking Martin Odegaard out of the team and the team still performing well shows the rotation. Gabriel Magalhaes taken out of the team. KVR didn't really look like we needed any defensive issues today. Like, they didn't cause any problems. And you know what? Everyone's going to sit here and say, oh, Sheffield United. You want to know something? Yes, they're bottom of the league, but this is the same Sheffield United that Manchester United beat 2-1, Man City beat 2-1, and Tottenham beat 2-1. Much closer games. We put them to the sword today. We scored 5 goals, and this was very needed, Terry. The reason why I'm saying we need more is because that goal difference is now top of the league with Newcastle. We're 1 goal off Newcastle, and just like that, we've gone up there. Chance creation, we created 3 big chances today. I don't think we've had another game where we created 3 big chances this season, and I'm just very happy with the performance. Now, there is some questions. One, Emil Smith-Rowe, it's his first game back. He's going to need some time to get himself going, but it's very positive to see that. Declan Rice and Eddie Nketiah, thank you, Chelsea, for giving us Eddie Nketiah, and of course, not going and signing your academy graduate back in Declan Rice. 2 Chelsea academy graduates performing for Arsenal. Love to see it. And yeah, that's pretty much it, Terry. Another game where we do our job, get it done, and I'm just moving on to the next game. And I'm happy that the rotation is working. And you know what, Terry, you always say that you bring up this point with Eddie Nketiah. Whenever he does something like this, I get overgassed. It's not that I'm getting overgassed. I'm just happy to see him performing well. And I'm happy to see a player who gets a lot of criticism for when he doesn't do well, showing up today after Jesus getting injured and everyone giving him a standing ovation at the Emirates. Moments like this, you got to be happy for the guy.
Of course I am. Listen, I like to see young players do well. Everyone's a young player to me now. I'm an old man, but I like to see players do well. My only kind of additional outside of praising what Eddie Nketiah did today is now score more. What I'm saying is he can't dine out on this hat trick for 10 more games without producing and scoring. He's got to do more of it because the team winning is more important than supporting Eddie. But he's proven today he can score screamers. The first goal, the shot was a tap-in, but the skill before it made it happen. The second goal was a dirty, scrappy goal. He's demonstrated he can do that. It's now about Eddie, go and do it more regularly. No one's expecting Haaland numbers, but maybe, scoring 1 in every 2, 1 in every 3 games in the Premier League, and suddenly that £150,000 a week contract, he's paying it back tenfold.
And you want to know something, Terry? People were kind of overreacting because our poor performances came against Tottenham and Chelsea and in the Champions League versus Lens. Now, they've come in quick succession. Now that our fixtures have turned and we're going to be facing some of these smaller teams, we need to batter them like we did today against Sheffield United. I need to see more offensive performances like this, because in order for us to win the league, our defense and our midfield can be good. But if we don't have the goal tally up and we don't have that, we don't start scoring and creating more chances, we're going to struggle in these kind of games where when these teams have better defenses and they play better low blocks and they shut down that defensive end. Today, we created a lot of chances and we finished those chances. We need to see more from it. I am not leaving this game saying this is what we're going to be every single game, but we need to see more performances like this going forward.
I agree. Gunnar Souls, thanks, Igal. We'll speak to you again in a second. You've been very critical of some of the performances this season, and I understand why. Is today exactly what you want to see?
100%. I mean, I asked Arteta, you need to trust your process. I asked for Odegaard to be dropped or be benched or whatever, rested, whatever word you want to use. And he did it. He had the kahunas to actually go, do you know what? He's my captain. He's my talisman. But you know what? He's not been performing. I'm going to drop him. Like we said, trust your squad. This is now your team, your 25-man squad, whether it's from renewals, whether you bought the players or you've given them big numbers. Eddie Nketiah, the number 14, ESR being given the number 10. Being given big contracts, big offers coming in for ESR being rejected. this is the moments where you spend £65 million on a player. You've got to go and swap your captain out for that player because it's significant money in this market. And he said, you know what, Kai Havertz, I trust you to go and do that role. And today we won 5-0. You know, and this is why I keep telling people it's about keeping your foot on the team. And it's about making sure that the pressure is alleviated from this club because we are in the upward trajectory and we do want to go win the league. But that's not going to happen if we just, you know, paper over all the cracks that we've got. Today is exactly what I wanted to see. Sheffield United were there for the taking. And guess what? We absolutely banged them for one. 5-0. You couldn't ask for more. And that's exactly what we need to see continuing moving forward. Goal difference, I know a lot of people laugh at it, but look at this season. There's about 4, 5, 6 teams at this stage in the season, 10 games in, that are in contention for a league title. I know a lot of them probably will drop off and it'll come down to maybe 2 or 3 teams, but we've never seen this many teams start off so well. So any fine margins that we can get out of it, whether it's, you know, goal difference, whether it's just points over our rivals, you need to take everything you can because Man City, look, they've got Manchester United tomorrow. Now, a lot of people are going to sit there and write United off and go, nah, City will definitely win that game. But it's a Manchester derby. Mad things have happened. 2-1 last season. Yes, you got battered in the first leg. But this is where we need to put a statement out for Man City to be like, we've got to win this game. There is nothing but a win, and that can throw off your opponents as well. So that's what we did. We showed a statement and more of this. Trust your squad, trust your process, and if we can continuously see this, that you're playing your players on merit, and also he's learned from last season, because what he did last season was he played the exact same 11 every single week, and when it really mattered, when we had those injuries, players like El Neni, players like Rob Holding, players like Kiwior, were coming in cold. They hadn't played for like months on end. They didn't have proper footballing minutes, and they would just be expected to go out there and compete in the business end of the season. This year, he's making them warm. He's giving them consistent minutes, and he's rotating the squad out so that when we need them, they're going to be ready. And that's exactly what I want to see. We've got West Ham coming up. We've got, you know, Champions League football. So yeah, like I can't really complain today. And on Eddie Nketiah, fair play to you, but I want to see it more. You've come off a 5-game drought. You've scored a hat-trick. Let's see what you do moving forward. Because I've always said it, this guy has 2 or 3 good games, and then he drops off again. So I need to see consistency. That's my only criticism of him. It's not his goal-scoring ability. It's how consistent he can keep it.
Mate, I totally get where you're coming from. I think you're right to demand that as those standards keep rising. And Jason, you're another lad who's you want Arsenal to do well. You've been critical of things recently. What did you make of that performance this afternoon? And do you think it's maybe a bit of a turning point in terms of the performance levels as opposed to just the results for Arsenal?
I wouldn't say a turning point for the performance, but I mean, like you said last week with that super chat, like in terms of do players need to be dropped in terms of Odegaard and stuff like that. I mean, fair play to Mikel Arteta. Odegaard has been dropped, and that is one of his favorites as well. Like, so I mean, he shows like kind of his ruthless side to it. And I felt like, you know, the fringe players coming in, like Kiwior, the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe coming in as well. It seems a bit refreshing. I know Sheffield United, but I was a bit wary in terms of like why are we kind of rotating heavily, but at the same time, the boys has actually delivered. And fair play to Eddie Nketiah with his hat trick, wonderful hat trick itself. I felt like he should be building that with his confidence as well. And I felt like, you know, in terms of it was really comfortable, and we should be blitzing teams. We have Newcastle next. I know it's going to be tough as well. So in terms of that, we should be a little bit more controlled because they will absolutely spank us if we are going kind of home. But with the likes of Wolves coming up, Brentford coming up, we should be blitzing these teams, man. And I want to add a little bit more goals into the side as well. So.
Yeah, I think that the point you raised, Gunnar Souls, about goal difference is key, because if you're in a narrow title race, but you've got a better goal difference, it's an extra point. It's essentially an extra point. So you have to look at it. And I was texting a few of my mates that they're not on socials, and they're sort of talking about the game, and they're like, great, we're 3-0 up, but I want 5, I want 6. And we're all sort of like bantering and having a bit of a laugh about it. But they went and did it, and it's needed. It's absolutely needed. Brandon's here with us. Welcome back to the show, mate. A much better day, a much better outing today. I want to get your views on your and thoughts around Arteta's rotation, making those changes, early substitutions, things that you've been very critical of him of in recent weeks and times.
Yeah, man, big up Arteta. You know, big up Arteta. Me and Souls was on here last week saying that we need to drop at Odegaard, and it seems like the manager's obviously taken note. Obviously he does, kind of know what he's doing, because, one thing that we can always complain about Arteta with is sometimes like not playing players based on merit, and dropping players when they deserve to be dropped. And, according to some Arsenal fans, Rory, if you wanted Odegaard dropped, you're a negative. You're a Lee Gunner's son. So maybe Arteta's Lee Gunner's son. Who knows? But anyway, on that, on that, you have to credit the manager. But at the end of the day, it's Sheffield United, and we showed them lot down the road. Yeah, Spurs, the league champions after 9 games, how to actually destroy Sheffield United and not get away with a lucky 2-1 win. Do you know what I mean? And Eddie Nketiah today, I'm very critical of this guy. He was head and shoulders our best player today, even before he scored the goals. His movement was excellent. He was creating space for the likes of Zinchenko, the likes of, Martinelli, Saka. And the first goal was all about his touch. His touch was really, really good in that area. If you don't get your touch right, you don't get the opportunity to score the goal. The second goal, again, it's all about being in the right place. A bit fortunate that it comes to him from the corner. But, again, he could quite easily have just smashed that against one of their players that were on the line. Instead, he found the corner. And then the third goal, right? I didn't think he had that in his locker, to be honest with you. But that first touch out of his feet and then, rocket from about 30 yards out in the top corner, his placement as well. Everything about Eddie Nketiah's performance today was what you want to see from your number 9. Do I still think Arsenal need a striker? 100%. 100%. Because the thing is, Eddie Nketiah, he has moments like this, but he can't do it consistently. And even Jesus, Jesus is not a consistent enough goal scorer to win Arsenal the league. So do we still need a striker? Yes, we do. But big up Eddie Nketiah today for his performance. And yeah, like I say, it's Sheffield United, so I'm not going to get too overexcited. I believe they've scored. I believe they conceded 29 goals in their first 9 games of this season. Do you know what I mean? So we should be battering them, and like Saul said, goal difference is going to be a big factor potentially in this title race. So it's good to get 5 goals against them today.
I hear that. I want to throw this to Nathan and Andy Gow. Is it fair to say it's just Sheffield United when Spurs struggled to beat them, United struggled to beat them, City struggled to beat them? Or is it fair to say that you should always be putting 4 or 5 goals past teams like Sheffield United and you shouldn't maybe over-celebrate it? Like, what's your take on that, Nath?
For me, I don't show disrespect in that kind of way, because you see it in football all the time. You can get humbled by any team. It happens all the time. Unlucky penalty, unlucky referee decision, and it can completely change the momentum of a game. So for me, it's all about the 3 points. For me, as bad as Sheffield United have been throughout the season, they still put up decent performances against City at home. They gave United a tough game. They gave Tottenham a tough game. So you can't really walk into it expecting to put 4 or 5. You would hope for us to, flex our muscles and show what we're really about. But I don't think you can have that sort of arrogance to kind of walk in. And that's something that I see a lot online with a lot of Arsenal fans is we have this arrogance. We're going to pump this team 5-0 or this team 6-0. And it's like, look, let's just get the result. Let's just get focused on chalking up the W's and getting them on the board, because that's all that matters. We're trying to move towards a league title. So for me personally, I just care about the 3 points in any way, whether that be a 1-0. I'm more grateful that it was a comfortable 5-0 where we showed and exerted a lot of control, and the football show was better than we've seen previously. But I don't like to disrespect my opponents.
How about yourself, Gal? Like you kind of said earlier that like it was more of a difficult game than maybe people are making out, or do you think what Brandon's saying is fair?
No, Terry, it wasn't difficult. We bossed that game. We bossed that game. Let's not make it seem like Sheffield United had any opportunities, but at the same time, we give our boys credit. I don't think it's a thing where you belittle your opponent and you say, "Oh, Sheffield United are trash" or anything like that. They are the worst team in the league, but it's on us to perform well. We needed a performance. This game, it's always about the 3 points, but the performances this season is why people have been critical about Arsenal. And a performance like this can sometimes get you going, get the goals going, and it can really boost the numbers, because the underlying numbers have not been good for Arsenal when it comes to our attacking end of the goal, the attacking end this season. Putting 5 past Sheffield United today kind of puts that on the back burner, because we're now up there with the goal tallies this season. We're, as I said, we're tied on goal difference for the best goal difference in the league. So it's like that is as crucial as the 3 points, in my opinion. And it doesn't matter if it was Sheffield United. It doesn't matter if it's anybody. We needed to see better performances offensively, and to see that when we've rotated is very good for the squad harmony, and it's very good for us going through the season. Because if we couldn't do rotation against Sheffield United, I don't know when we would have been able to do rotation.
I think the bigger thing is we beat a team that's going to play a low block against us, because that's typically where we struggle, and we typically only beat those teams like 1-0, 2-1, you know, like a lot of teams have against Sheffield. And I think that's the positive sign for us, that we are able to beat the teams that come for us, but also the teams that want to sit back, have 10 men behind the ball, and just want to crowd out the box and find different ways of playing. You know, today we've seen it. You know, we went wide, we were able to go inside, go in the middle, control it all, and actually find different ways of scoring. You know, Eddie Nketiah, obviously, for the first time outside of the box, he actually managed to score, but also from corners, we're starting to score again. So, and defensively as well, we're resolute. You know, they tried to counter us. They actually lost confidence in actually doing anything. Because when you looked at the first half, I thought, yeah, this is going to be another 1-0, maybe a 2-0, maybe we slip up and do 2-1. But no, we came out and we went firing, because normally we'd go into our shells and we'd start playing a defensive masterclass at 1-0, or start showboating and, you know, showing a bit too much confidence against the team. But today it was resolute. We had one task on our minds, which was just absolutely go there and put a statement performance out. And that's what we did. And that's all you can say. It's one game at a time. We've got Newcastle next week. We needed to win this game, because next week could be a draw. It could be a loss. And we've got to get the points where we need them.
I just want to say this.
Yeah, one thing
we need to have a little bit more patience, because as a team, we've seen that this season, the way that we start games is not necessarily how we finish teams off. Because last year we would finish teams off in the first couple of minutes, and then as the game grows, we're more and more losing control of the game. Now it's the opposite. We grow into games. We start off quite like cagey, and then as the game goes, we get more and more control of the game, and by the time the game is done, it's like you just know we're going to win this game, and there's no real opportunities from the opponent. Where last year we might have been getting more points, but our control of the games has not been as controlling as it has been in some of these games this season.
One thing I do want to touch on as well is the not conceding at home. So, like, prior to this, I think it was only City where we managed to shut out to keep a clean sheet. So for me, I thought that was it was nice to see us finally getting a clean sheet at home. In addition to that, it was finally nice to see Raya have a solid game, and then there be no kind of talk about Ramsdale after the game, because there was no moments in there where he did anything of any note that would make any fan think otherwise. In fact, there was actually 2 pieces of distribution where he released Martinelli on the left-hand side on the counter after collecting the ball, which was brilliant to kind of set us going forward. So it was nice in that regards to walk away from a game for once, for the first time in a little while, and not have too much negative to say or too much concern.
Yeah, and there's no controversy. We got a hat trick from Eddie Nketiah. Fabio Vieira scored a goal, and congratulations to him and his missus, as he did do a baby celebration. And also, Tomiyasu scoring his first goal. He's been outstanding lately, and for him to not start this game and come on, he's just being a super sub, and he's doing his job and his role perfectly. And Brendan, people were calling you out earlier. I think you owe Tomiyasu an apology, bro. This guy's a baller, man.
I apologized years ago, bro. I did.
Yeah, in fairness to Brandon, he was even before the end of last season. Brandon did come out and say he's actually a lot better than I thought he was.
No,
I remember the arguments we had about Emerson and Tomiyasu. It was the funniest time as an Arsenal fan.
Just so everybody can hear it, I apologise, Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu is definitely not the Japanese Bellerin, that's for sure.
He's definitely better than Bellerin. Ironically, he doesn't pass. He's not as good as on the eye test as Bellerin, but he's a better football player than Bellerin, because the eye test is extremely.